it smell when you went up to the door? Mom's not around to tell me no because she's dead. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with my pearl-handled pistol cufflinks so graciously gifted to me last year by our content genius, Michael Rivers, who's not only behind the camera, he's behind everything I say and do. Without him, nothing. It's a great project, father and son, and you just got to love it because what could be better than a father and son bonding? Maybe a father and daughter bonding, I guess.
Father-son bondage.
Father-son bondage. I don't think so. Anyway, before we get to this episode, and because it's all about our favorite topic, murder, this is brought to you by ContractsCounsel.com. ContractsCounsel.com is an effective way for you to get any kind of business agreement or any kind of contract you need written, and you do it remotely. Now, here's the thing. We need lawyers. We have lawyers, and we have a lot of clients, but we need more lawyers. So I know some of you guys out there who are fans of this channel are lawyers. If you want to get a little extra work that you can do from home at your leisure, as much or as little as you want, go to ContractsCounsel.com. It's a division of e-sign, so you know it's a quality outfit. So go to ContractsCounsel.com and sign up. We need more lawyers. We have a lot of clients. And if you need any kind of agreement or anything written that requires a little expertise, like a lawyer, go to ContractsCounsel.com. A very, very awesome group of folks. They've been a great supporter of the channel, and I wouldn't support it if I didn't believe in it. So ContractsCounsel.com. Now, here's the thing. I, grew this thing out, and I'm starting to kind of like it. And I got a letter from Alan. Alan, thank you. Big fan of your channel, that sharp beard, and had to send you a kit of my beard balm. Use a small amount in your palms, rub it in your palms, and apply to the beard. Ignore the stash. Oh, interesting. So he sent me a bunch of this, and I'm not hawking this because I haven't used it yet, but Big Bob's Beard Balm. I love it when stuff like this happens. Anyway, so thank you, Alan, and thanks for the support. We get so many comments. You guys comment all the time on not only what we do, but kind of, we get inspiring messages saying somebody, has now gone into law school or whatever. So we're here to inspire, educate, and hopefully make you laugh a little bit, especially at our favorite topic, murder. Now today, this is in Florida on May 5th. God, this is just recently. Deputies were dispatched to conduct a welfare check on a woman. I haven't seen this, but our contract genius thinks it would be appropriate for our channel. Did I say contract genius? I meant our content genius. ContractsCounsel.com. That's your contract genius. Our content genius thinks this would be a good episode. So here we go. Now, I haven't seen this.
Deputies were dispatched to conduct a welfare check on a woman who hadn't been seen for several days.
Now, think about this. You're a cop, and you are going to a home where somebody isn't responsive. And it's, you could run into just about anything.
Did it smell when you went up to the door?
Did it smell when you went up to the door? That's one of the things. A dead body does not smell delicious. Dead body gives off its very specific odor. And these cops, they know that because they come on these kinds of scenes all the time. And look at this palatial estate. Doesn't it look nice?
Yeah, there's a door around the opposite side. Did you see somebody? The other side reeks bad. Hello? Sheriff's office. Somebody in there? Hello?
So when you're looking at this scene, number one, it looks like a mess. It just looks chaotic. And, somebody's got their tents out, probably friends or whatever. And I can tell you that it looks like dysfunction and or drugs. And when you analyze what the cops are doing, you analyze it in terms of the Fourth Amendment, right? Do they have a right to be on the property, number one? Do they have a right to go into the property? So you can't search a home absent a warrant unless there's an exception to the warrant requirement, right? So at a tent, it's all about reasonable expectation of privacy. You set up a tent in somebody's yard. Do you really have a reasonable expectation of privacy in a tent? It's a quasi home, but it's not a home. So, like an automobile, you have a lower expectation of privacy in an automobile than you do in a home. But if you're called to check on somebody and do a welfare check, what do we have so far? We have smell, and we have a report that they haven't been seen in a while. And you look at this shithole. I mean, pardon my French. It is just astounding to me the different levels of stuff that people live in. I used to be an EMT. That's how I got through college. Drove an ambulance. And we would come into all kinds of different scenarios. Scenarios where you have people who are hoarders. Scenarios where you have people who are just messy. And sometimes they're just absolute disaster areas. And just because you're poor doesn't mean that you can't be neat.
So then I'll bring you back or whether this is just the other door smells like a 7.
Smells like a 7. That means death. And here's the thing. I fucking hate clutter. I hate clutter. So when if you force me to live in this, that's a good way for me to go crazy.
This place is a disaster.
Cops thinking the same thing I am. It's a disaster.
You smell?
And then if you're a neighbor and you live next to this shit, I mean, it would just be an eyesore.
No, I do.
I don't know what's coming out of. You just ask the neighbors, I guess, see if they see anybody. There's that Reese right there, right?
A little bit. Watch your head.
Yeah, I saw him. Let's go to the neighbor, one next to us over here, and see if they've seen anybody over here in a minute.
So at this point, what the cops are doing is just gathering as much information as they can, because they're eventually going to want to get in that house.
How are you? All right, brother. Have you seen Lainey recently?
The girl?
Yeah, next door neighbor.
Just the guys over there.
When's the last time you seen them?
Him, he usually walks up and down the road, but her, I haven't seen her in a while.
How long would a while be? Days, months?
Day or two.
Couple days.
And when you saw her, did she smell like a dead person?
Three
Yeah.
days or something like that.
When's the last time you seen the boys?
Yesterday.
Okay, so nobody today.
Mm-mm.
Have you heard any fighting, anything in the last 2 days? Any
When's the
loud
last time you
commotion?
seen her? I know it would be not abnormal for you to hear yelling and screaming coming from over there. So.
No.
Nothing.
No,
We're kind of new to the neighborhood, too. So
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
okay.
been a lot of different things going on here, so it's weird. We're not used to it.
no, more quiet.
Yeah.
I used to live right down there behind the Circle K in Cleveland, Dalewood.
Oh,
That's
yes.
nice, and man, that's so cool back there. You don't worry about nothing. You know what I mean? It's nice and quiet. I know all the neighbors held 50 years, boy. And they come up here and all kind. This is just way different for me, but I'm doing good.
All right. That's all that matters, that you guys are doing good.
Yeah. So if we hear or see anything,
Just call the number right there. That's the non-emergency number. If you see Lainey or any of
Yeah,
the
her
boys.
sister's looking for her, and she's not able to get a hold of her, so that's why we're out trying to make contact with her.
And what would be frustrating in a situation like that is where I don't know if it's her son or who she's living with, but you're probably trying to get some information out of the son, and he's stonewalling you or doesn't answer or whatever. So something's up. And we always have that sixth sense, right? You kind of have that, that feeling in your gut that something just isn't right.
Yeah.
He's probably like in his 30s, I'd say.
30s?
Yeah, probably like early, mid-30s maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's only been there for like a few weeks because the tent wasn't there. And then the tent showed up and then he was around, so...
Right.
The tent wasn't there, so he shows up for a few weeks, and Does he kill her?
Any commotions or anything in the last couple of days or
No,
before
like
then?
yelling or fighting or anything like that.
Nothing?
We hear. They're pretty quiet for the most part, but
Okay.
the most I see out of the dude is just like sometimes he walks up and down the road. Today he was riding a bike, so
Do you know what color bike it was?
I didn't pay attention.
Okay. Was it just a bike or a
Yeah,
tricycle?
like just like a full size like license bike almost.
Okay. Alrighty.
She got her husband arrested on the 25th. Trespass. I didn't hear nothing, but I can smell that smell from
So now you have to wonder, what is the cause for him to get in? So it started out as a welfare check, right? He smells this odor, and he knows people are coming in and out of there, but there's no explanation for where she is.
You got close to the... The AC's working. That?
A home is supposed to be your castle. You know, you take good care of your place. You know, it shouldn't be a shithole. You know, when you're living and you're living right, I'm not saying that these people are living wrong, but it lessens, to me, a neat house lessens your stress.
That could be pushed in.
Yeah, we're not gonna push this thing in there. It ain't supposed to be pushed in. I guess it wouldn't take much, now would it? I mean, I could make an open door. There's a door on each side of the house, and everything is just like propped up with something. This thing's like ready to fall down.
Oh, the bench.
So now they can peer into a window, and that's called plain view. And if then all of a sudden they see something that develops probable cause or an exigent circumstances to avoid a warrant, they can go in.
Missouri.
Beware of dog, and you don't hear the dog.
Nothing. The kitchen's over there. So, but I can't.
Now here's your impulse. Your impulse is just fucking go in there, right? But if he's living there and they don't have a warrant and they haven't developed an exigent circumstance, that means an exception to the warrant requirement, then he could wind up filing a motion to suppress, and all of a sudden they find a body. You can't use the body because it's fruit of the poisonous tree. And I guess what I mean by that is if the cops break the law to enforce the law, they can't use what they get. So if they enter the house illegally, anything they find, even if it's a dead body, they can't use.
How far and get the proper information for Lainey, it's going to be an ACES, and just run it real quick.
Okay.
Then have Central check her out in all of the hospitals and see if she's there.
After checking the hospitals, deputies return to the house to continue looking.
So when you have an elderly person, there's got to be an explanation as to where they are, or as to their whereabouts. And so she's not at the hospitals, she's not answering her door, and her scooter looks like it's still there. Where is she?
Did you hear us knocking before? Were you knocked out?
No, I was sleeping in there.
I'm glad you woke up because you're about to come inside. We're looking for Mom. Have you seen her?
She's not around right now.
Do you know where she's at? His sister's asking for her. She's not in any trouble or anything like that.
I have no idea.
When was the last time you saw her?
A few days ago,
Where'd she go?
she just went to the store. Said she'd be back in a little while.
All right. So we know by virtue of the fact that we're watching this video that she's in the fucking house. We know that, right? Because that's what it said. So now put your mind's eye into his brain and think what he's thinking. He's trying to keep those cops out of that house any way he possibly can.
Is it abnormal for Mom to be gone for days at a time?
Sometimes.
Where does she usually go? Does she have a favorite place where she likes to go when she's not home?
Not that I know of.
Did she tell you anything out of the normal when last time you saw her?
No.
What happened the last time you guys were together?
She gave me a few cigarettes and a little bit of food and some hand soap to wash my hands and told me I could come stay back here.
Okay.
Something tells me that Mom's not necessarily responsible for all that mess.
But you haven't seen Mom since then.
And notice he's not looking at anybody. He's not making eye contact at anybody. He's not saying, he's got no details as to where she is or really the last time he saw her.
When's the last time you text, called her, or anything like that?
And he's sleeping, and it's 5:30 in the afternoon. Because, you always need a good nap if you've been high all day.
Okay.
When was the last time you saw Dad?
A week ago.
Do you know where he's staying at?
No, I heard that she might have called the cops on him.
Yeah, he got arrested the 25th of last month. For trespassing.
Do you know who stays in the tent?
Well, that's what I was saying before she told me I can come in the house.
Oh, she told you could come before she left?
Yeah.
Okay, why would you have your fucking son stay in a tent? Why? Because he's probably a dickhead. And he's probably not getting along with Mom. Hence, Mom is dead. We're kind of having a little theme here with murderous sons.
It'd be alright if they just went inside to make sure she's not in there.
It's not my house.
It's not my house. So it's not his house. He's just disavowed himself of any ownership. Or that he's really even living in it because he lives in the fucking tent like a circus clown. And so... So what does that mean? That means that the cops probably can go in because they're suspicious now. They're not believing a thing this guy's saying.
Huh?
I can't tell you no.
Okay.
I can't tell you no. That's kind of a yes.
Business.
But you stay here and it's your mom's house?
Listen.
And we're looking for Mom, so we just want to make sure Mom's not stowed away in a closet or something. Dad didn't come back and retaliate for getting arrested or something like that. So,
Mom's taxidermied sitting up in a Barcalounger.
if you're not going to tell me yes or no, then we're just going to peek our head in there real quick and then we'll come back outside. You can lead the way if you so
I'm not
please.
trying to lock the door.
You could go in with You could go in. Just lead us through it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have a key?
No.
Why would you lock the door behind you?
Because I'm a fucking moron. I mean, why would you lock the door? Because I'm dehydrated from all the drinking and drugs that I do.
I just usually do that.
So how do you get in?
I don't know.
How about
How do you get in? I don't know.
the little door that's over here?
It's just barricaded up.
With what?
Garbage can and some stuff.
So how do you get in the house? Why did you lock the door? Because I feel like you're fucking with me. What the hell? What's the
I'm
deal?
not trying to fuck with you, you're saying.
Do you understand how how this looks, right?
Yes, sir.
So why? So how do you get in the house since you locked the door?
I'm probably sleep in the tent, or
Are you not supposed to be in the house? Is that why you locked the door?
yeah.
Well, mom's not around to tell me no because she's dead.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's fine. We're not worried about that. We just
My
want to
main
make
concern
sure.
right now is finding mom.
That's it.
If you know you're not supposed to be here, that's on whatever. We can deal with that at a later point in time. I really don't care about that. Yeah.
So here's the issue with that. If he's not supposed to be there, he's got no ability to keep them out of the house. So the only one that can assert their Fourth Amendment right is who? The property owner or a guest. Sometimes you can leave somebody in charge of your house, like a house sitter or something like that, and they'd have the permission to, keep somebody out. But if they go in there now, even without a warrant, he's got no ability later on to argue in court standing because he's disavowed himself. And you need standing in order to assert a right. Because if you don't have standing, you can't make that claim. You get what I'm saying?
My main goal is making sure mom's okay, find mom, and do that. That's what we're here for. We're not here for you because you were sleeping in the bed or whatever. Okay. So, obviously, you went in and unlocked it from the inside. Did you get in? Did you just push that one thing open to get in? Or the other door?
You mind doing that for us right now?
This is called the last walks of freedom, or the last steps of freedom.
You mean that I believe it was to the intersection of Duncan and Washington Loop Road. To make contact with Jane and Jessica. Jessica was stating that her boyfriend had tied her up and did things to her. Say that created 3510 Washington Loop Road. Was on the 8 miles per hour.
I think if you shimmy it into the right, we could be able to just pull it out.
He's the one that did it.
So push it into the right. Keep pushing it in. Now try to move it out, and then push it out. There you go.
I hate when I see people living in those kinds of conditions because it's not healthy, especially when you have a murderous son. What an asshole. So clearly the redaction was you didn't see the body. So let's see what his reaction is to being confronted with the reality of his mother's death.
So are you sure mom's not in there?
I don't know. I just stayed in my room, stayed in my living room.
We're already in, so we're gonna find out. So
I understand, friend.
So you're going to tell me you didn't know mom was in there?
No, sir.
Jennifer went to her back. Because now they got a whole bigger issue. Call 400 and have me come out here.
431 to 400.
Have a seat. $417-400.
One of the things when people do drugs is that they just don't do things that are smart. Like killing your own mother is not a smart prospect. But not only that, he took absolutely no efforts to cover it up. And here he is.
I'm going to need you to come out here. This is going to be a bigger issue.
Just gonna read you Miranda so you know your rights before anything happens, okay?
Now here's the thing. If she's an older woman and she died of natural causes and he just didn't report that death, there's no crime. You got to do something with the body, obviously, but if she's been dead a few days or a few weeks or whatever, and God, being in that fucking place would smell so bad. It would smell so bad. How you could even take a nap having it smell that bad. Maybe he gets nose blind, I guess, for lack of a better word. But if she died of natural causes, there's cause of death is going to be huge in a case like this.
To remain silent. Anything you say can be used you in court. Do you understand that so far?
Now notice when they put the cuffs on him, that's when they Mirandized him. That's because when you're in custody and there's interrogation, in other words, eliciting questions, then Miranda attaches. So anything he says after this, if he agrees to talk, will be admissible in court.
Yeah, all right. So you have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and have him or her present during questioning. If you can't afford one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. Do you understand that so far? All right. So if you decide to answer any questions without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering at any time. You also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand that? So after being read these rights, do you still wish to talk to us?
So we're not going to ask you any questions at this point in time, but
Just in case.
someone at some point will be asking.
That is smart for that officer to say that, because who do you don't really want multiple interviews unless you are able to trip him up and have multiple inconsistencies. But he's smart because we're not going to ask you questions. We're going to leave it to homicide.
Do you swear to affirm that the statement you're about to give is the whole truth but nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
When we first got here and talked to you, you said you hadn't seen Mom in how long?
A few days.
A few days. When is that the actual answer, or what is the answer you want to swear to? The last time you saw Mom?
We were talking around the house here. I mean, I seen her riding a bike, and she gave me a few cigarettes and stuff and told me to stop back by the house later. And I came and stopped back by the house later, and we were talking and cleaning up the yard and cleaning up the house and everything. She told me I could stay inside, and that was a few days ago.
Okay, well, they've probably found her in a pretty obvious place because it's a trailer. And so if she's tucked away somewhere, like under furniture or hidden somewhere, that's, one thing. If she's just, laying in a chair and, with her mouth wide open and her body stiff as a board, that's quite another.
But you said that wasn't the truth, that you weren't supposed to be staying inside.
No.
Yes, when we talked to you over there, I said you're not supposed to be here. That's so.
No contact order.
Okay.
Oh, now we have a no contact order. The only way you get that is probably threats of violence or actual violence. And so Mom must have been afraid of her son. Probably for a good reason.
I believe.
Do you know if it's still active or no?
No, sir.
Okay.
I imagine it might. I don't know for sure. I figured if she told me I could come and stay with her, and I don't know.
I don't think she gave him permission to beat the shit out of her.
Okay. What is there no contact order between you and Mom for?
We got into the dispute. She said I slapped her, I punched her.
Okay, guys, never slap or punch your mother, even if she hits you first. Because they have the right to discipline you, you don't have the right to discipline your mother. Walk the fuck away. But I can't imagine any of my fans out there or subscribers would necessarily touch their mother in a negative way. Right? Right. Okay, we got that squared away.
The battery?
Yes, sir.
Okay, domestic stuff.
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you seen Dad?
Just last week, I believe.
Okay. How did your conversation with Dad go the last time you saw him?
Bad.
Bad?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad?
How about between Mom and Dad? Did they talk?
The only thing I knew is she told, at that point in time when she got home, she told me and him both to leave, so I left and went walking somewhere and he stayed away.
Do you know where Dad is at currently?
No, sir.
Do you know if Dad has a job?
No, sir.
And you haven't talked to Dad since
That night, yes, sir.
that night? Okay. When I guess he got arrested?
That's what I...
If Dad has a restraining order or there have been some domestics between Mom and Dad, he'd be the perfect guy to hang the jack on. But what the hell are you doing living in that house with a dead body in it that just reeks like fucking hell that you can smell from the outside?
And you left, so you didn't get arrested?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then your and mom's relationship has been good as of late.
Yeah.
Did you notice anything different while you've been staying here?
I mean, I've been so high, I burned out my nose, and I just didn't smell the rotting corpse that was at my feet.
Did that not raise any alarm to you?
A little. Did it raise any alarm? Yeah, maybe a little.
I did kind of look in there. I'll see. I guess I should really. I don't have a cell phone or anything. I should probably.
Okay. So you saw her in the position that she's currently in now.
Yes, sir.
So why did you tell us that mom wasn't there?
Yes.
You know better than me. I wasn't the one that did it, so.
Yes, sir.
Because I smelt her before you ever even came outside, and you're telling me mom's not in there, and you know damn well that she was in there.
Yes, sir.
And you're lying to me.
When you lie about a very important fact like that, like where is the dead person, that's consciousness of guilt, and we've said that over and over again. Little details like that, there's only one reason for you to lie about that, right? Because you did something wrong.
So why wouldn't you just tell us the truth? We told you from the beginning we weren't there for you. We just wanted to make sure mom was good.
Yeah.
That's all. So what prompted you to lie to us?
Started over.
And you, when you went in there and checked on her 2 days ago, did you know that she was deceased?
I couldn't say so. I wouldn't say no.
Okay, but was it apparently obvious to you that
Yes, sir.
somebody smelling like that wouldn't be
Yes,
somebody
sir.
who wouldn't? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So why didn't you call law enforcement when you found her deceased? You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. Any idea why she is deceased?
No, sir.
What could have happened?
No, sir.
So, it really is dumb to lie about the fact that she was in there. But you could understand why somebody would do that. But if she was dead before he got there, clearly there's no crime.
Okay.
I really don't.
I gotcha. Well, that will conclude our portion of our interview. Is there anything you wish to add, James?
So evidently he was charged with failing to report a death to the medical examiner, which is probably a misdemeanor.
Angela, from what you told us,
No, sir.
have we discussed anything off tape we have not discussed on tape?
No, sir.
All right, that will conclude this statement. The current time is 6:21 p.m.
So let's kind of unpack it. You see what I kind of did there? I kind of went with the assumption that the son did something because he lied about it. And there's a danger in doing that. And the danger is you could really presuppose some facts that don't exist. Right? And I kind of did that just now. So, but they're going to do her toxicology. Maybe she drank herself to death. Maybe she just died of natural causes. But what happens after, the medical examiner's report, they'll determine manner and cause of death. They'll look at all her different organs and they weigh them and they analyze them for disease and come up with a plausible scenario as to what happened. So the best thing that happened in this case is the patience of the officers. They didn't go off half-cocked. They were methodically checking the home. They were knocking. They checked with neighbors. And then the son fortuitously came out while they were there. You can credit these officers for having patience, for not jumping to conclusions, and for not going off half-cocked and jumping into the house. Because they sought permission, they got permission, they entered the house, they did the welfare check, and they were very measured in everything that they did. This has been our reaction. It's not really a homicide scene. We don't know that it was a homicide, right? We don't know the cause of death or manner of death. There's two kinds of manner of death. Or three, really. There's homicide, suicide, and natural causes. And so we don't know, and this is just in May, so they probably don't even have the toxicology back yet from that case. So we'll see. And if it was blunt force trauma, these cops would have known that right away, and they would have probably questioned him a lot harder. So it doesn't seem to be any foul play. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers with our content genius, Michael Rivers. Make sure if you're a lawyer, go to contractscouncil.com, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. So you might wonder why Mr. Burke's not in custody right now. Well, just because it's in his car doesn't mean that he's the one that did this. If you look at what happened with Casey Anthony's case, it's not very similar to it, actually. There was her trunk that smelled like a dead body, but there wasn't enough evidence to link her to the killing. And so until they've got something, they have to have probable cause in order to arrest him. But more than that, in order to bring a case, even though you only need probable cause to charge somebody, a prosecutor has an ethical obligation to not bring a case that he doesn't think he can win beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard for a jury. It might seem like a great idea. I'm going to go with this rapper, but guess what you are? First of all, you're a teenager. You don't have any independent means of support. You don't have your own credit card. You don't have your own job. You don't have your own set of wheels. You don't have your own anything. And guess what that makes you? That makes you controllable. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, here to give you the news. Today we're reacting to David, and David's in some hot water, and we'll talk a little bit more about why before we get to that. This is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is an effective way for you to avoid putting somebody in your trunk, because if you ask a lawyer on AskALawyer.com, they'll tell you don't do it. For $49, you can have a live, breathing lawyer who can give you advice before anything gets kind of hairy. Or if it's getting hairy, they can give you advice on how to get through the next step. If you're doing your own case, what do they say? He who represents himself has a fool for a client. But they do have an AI component that's trained in all the 50 states. You can do all your legal research right there at AskALawyer.com. So go to AskALawyer.com, and the same people that brought you eForms and eSign. I use both of those products. I don't use Ask a Lawyer because guess what? I am a lawyer, and hopefully I stay out of those situations. But if you have a dispute with your landlord, or if you have a contract dispute, or somebody's suing you, or if you just want to know something, go to AskALawyer.com for $49. It's a bargain. Okay, do you know who David is? D4VD. Which is, everybody's got to be different, right? So David, he's a 20-year-old born in Queens, raised in Houston. He's started his career as a gamer. How do you start your career playing video games? This is a different world than I grew up in. He played Fortnite and would edit his highlights for you. Oh, look at this is what happened on Fortnite. Who the fuck watches it? I guess people do watch this stuff. Homeless Nick just raised his hand. So let's just take a look at this interview. He's a rapper, songwriter, that kind of thing.
Fast forward like a month or two, I'm making a lot of money. My mom's like, okay, maybe the game's not rotting your brain. I start getting copyright strikes left and right from UMG. And I'm like, what in the world is UMG? I don't know what UMG is. Yeah. So I'm not making any money now. I got the red money sign on all my videos. And I'm like crying to mom about it. I'm like, yo, I don't know what to do. I'm not making any money anymore, blah, blah, blah. And she was like on a phone or something. She was like, just make your own music. Go, get out of my face. Make your own music. I was like, wait a minute. I could probably do that.
And you never did it before in your life?
Never.
So that's who he is. Started out as a gamer. His SoundCloud was gaining attention, but he blew up after posting his song Romantic Homicide, which is, now this Romantic Homicide song came out ostensibly before he had some interactions with this Celeste. So Celeste is a young lady who was found in his trunk of his Tesla after it was towed into a tow lot, and the car started smelling really bad. So the people at the tow lot, tow truck drivers don't smell the greatest to begin with. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. And for them to call the cops because there was a foul odor coming from the car, it's got to be bad. And if you remember Casey Anthony's case,
there's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the car.
There wasn't even a body in that truck, and her mother smelled the remains. So when a body decomposes, it's really insane. But let's just take a look at this thing that went viral on TikTok. So dark. And And one of the things that we find in rap lyrics, especially drill, and this is not necessarily drill, but they tend to talk about real events. And then guess what happens? They use those rap lyrics in trials. It happened just in May in Minneapolis. We had 5 defendants on trial for a RICO conspiracy gang case. And through this guy's whole video comes in where he talks about the very stuff that's on trial here. And you might say, is it art? Is it art? Is it art? Maybe it's art. Maybe it is. But it's going to show up in your, like Melly. You know, the very first video we did was Murder on My Mind by Melly, where he talks about, you know, the horror of killing his friends. I mean, what the f***? So we're going to get into the lyrics a little bit, but Romantic Homicide charted on number 3 on the Hot Alternative charts, which led him to being signed by Interscope Records. He was the opening act for SZA's tour, and you know, that's just snowballed from there. He got brand deals, and so. But what do you make of this? So early September, like I think September 8th, is when Celeste Riva's remains were found in this Tesla. She had been missing for over a year. Last seen like April 2024 when she was 13 years old. 13. And he's, what, 20 now? So there's a little bit of an age gap there. And let me tell you something. A 13-year-old can't consent to sex. Can't consent to being a 20-year-old's boyfriend or girlfriend. So David's black Tesla was abandoned on the street in Hollywood Hills. The car is then impounded. The tow people and the lot people smell something rancid coming from the trunk. So they call the cops. The cops lift open the trunk and they find a decomposing Celeste Riva, but they don't know who that is quite yet. And they don't even know it's David's car yet. They just are kind of investigating this. She's dismembered, she's decomposing, but they ultimately identify that it's her. So they think she'd been in the car for about 5 days before that. And they can kind of tell roughly, you know, based on forensics. The remains, like I said, were identified as Celeste Riva's. She had a tattoo on her right index finger that said shh on it, SHHH. Law enforcement told media that the remains were not intact and that the girl had been dead for an extended period of time. In December 2023, so I'm not sure what the timing is of the relationship between Celeste Riva and David, but in December 2023, he writes a song called Celeste. And so this is what it's like to not need weed to get me high. I love it when you told me when you cry. Just because, be my Valentine, I want to make Cupid suicidal. These are the kind of thoughts that cross my mind just because. So writing a song about her would definitely be part of a trial if he's ever charged. Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Oh, Celeste. Afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. I miss you so much, makes me depressed, but I digress. Because I love you so much, baby. Anytime you have a situation where somebody is unnaturally found, which is what we have here, the first person of interest is who? The last person to see them, right? And the last person most likely is the person that owned the car in which she's residing, right? She's, just so 13 years old, goes missing from your house for over a year. Wouldn't you just go fucking apeshit if you were the parent? You know, I mean, that's why you got to keep your kids close.
The body found inside the trunk of an abandoned Tesla registered to the singer David has been identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. The teen was reported a runaway and missing out of Lake Elsinore nearly a year and a half ago. Tonight, a house close to where that Tesla...
How bad, if you're a teen, does it have to get for you at 13 years old to leave your home? You know, I know there's a draw because, you know, David's this, you know, hit artist, but I mean...
Tesla was abandoned was searched. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo is there live now in Hollywood with more. Tim.
And Mark, those CSI investigators literally just left the scene about 10, 15 minutes ago. The police tape finally came off and we were able to come a little bit closer to this house. Now, we don't know at this point what exactly those detectives were looking for, what they got out of that house. We saw them pull evidence and put it into an SUV, essentially where I'm standing right now. We don't even know why they were here in the first place, but this house just happens to be literally feet away from where that Tesla was found. A dozen LAPD investigators took a computer.
So guess what happens? You know, there's door ring cams, there's, you know, traffic cams, there's all kinds of digital surveillance and digital footprints and just a whole web of digital information that you seek on to figure out, okay, where do we go from here? And it's so much easier than it used to be. You know, you used to have to pound the pavement. Now you just get behind a keyboard and you figure out where was David's last known cell service? Where was he 5 days ago? Track his movements. Why is his car abandoned? And why is it abandoned by this house? You know, you take computers, you take phones, you take tablets, you take iPads, and you create a picture of where, when, and how people moved around.
Computer and other items from this Hollywood home just a block away from where an abandoned Tesla was found with a dead teenager in the trunk. Police spent hours at the home on Dehaney Place, placing several evidence bags into an SUV, but they wouldn't say if or how it was connected to the Tesla. Several homeowners say they remember seeing that distinct Tesla for a while, first parked in front of the house police searched today, then at two different spots on the street.
It's a little weird to see a car that I haven't seen here for a long time. Had a big dent on it, had a Texas plate on it. So all a little odd, but at the same time, you know, people could be hanging out with friends for, you know, for a long time.
That abandoned Tesla was towed earlier this month, and workers at a Hollywood tow yard noticed a foul odor and found decomposed human remains wrapped in a garbage bag inside the car.
So the wrapping of the body and putting it in the trunk is, you know, a very deliberate act. It's not like you slipped, you hit your head, you died, and now you're on the bathroom floor and you call the cops like that. This is covering up a homicide.
We now know the young woman found dead was 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, according to the medical examiner, the same teen who was reported missing from Lake Elsinore last year. At a corner store in town, the owner recalled her coming in often.
She always quiet, nice. She come in like if she buy like a chips, soda, and leave. Sometimes she come with a friend from the neighborhood.
Eyewitness News has learned Rivas had run away from home a few times. She was last reported missing in spring of 2024.
So teens generally run away when one of two things happen. Either they're little shits and they don't want to fucking listen, or it's so bad at home that they just can't take the abuse anymore. And both can be true at the same time as well. You could be a little shit and, you know, being suffering from abuse. And a lot of times drugs plays a part in it as well.
Those who knew Rivas, who just turned 15 a week and a half ago, say she was bubbly and sweet.
She just seemed very lively and friendly, a typical teenager.
The medical examiner hasn't determined her cause of death, but part of the police investigation will be speaking to the owner of that Tesla, a musician who goes by David. His real name, David Anthony Burke from Houston.
So you might wonder why Mr. Burke's not in custody right now. Well, just because it's in his car doesn't mean that he's the one that did this. If you look at what happened with Casey Anthony's case, it's not very similar to it, actually. There was her trunk that smelled like a dead body, but there wasn't enough evidence to link her to the killing. And so until they've got something, they have to have probable cause in order to arrest him. But more than that, in order to bring a case, even though you only need probable cause to charge somebody, a prosecutor has an ethical obligation to not bring a case that he doesn't think he can win beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard for a jury.
In Texas. David, made popular via social media for the songs Romantic Homicide and Here With Me, began the American leg of his world tour on July 30th and has continued performing since the investigation began. Tonight's show, though, in Seattle was canceled. The medical examiner also trying to determine how long Rivas had been dead, but based on the condition of the body, it might have been a while. Those who saw the Tesla this summer and watched LAPD spend hours in this well-to-do Bird Streets neighborhood are rattled by everything that's happened here.
It's scary to think that this is happening, and this is a beautiful neighborhood, a very nice, beautiful, expensive home.
Nobody's at risk at the neighborhood. I mean, this is a very isolated, you know, like the Petito, remember like Gabby Petito case? I mean, the people at large generally aren't at risk when it comes to something like this, because the guys who put their hands on a woman like this aren't guys that are going to put their hands on another man, generally speaking.
Expensive homes, and we would think that we'd be safer.
Interesting note, the home here behind me that detectives have been focused on the better part of today has 2 cameras above the garage as well as a ring camera. In fact, this entire neighborhood has pretty extensive security system, with many of the homes having several cameras. We do know from a couple neighbors I spoke with earlier that police were here last week asking to review or see some of the security camera footage. We don't know if they got anything, if it's helped the case.
You know damn well that they're not going to that house unless they have something.
As to this point, LAPD has been extremely tight-lipped about this entire investigation. We're live tonight in Hollywood. Tim Caputo, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Tim Caputo, thank you.
At the time they found the body, he wasn't anywhere nearby. He was on a tour. And on September 8th, when they actually took the car in, he was in Minneapolis, right here in my hometown. And he tells everybody that I'm cooperating fully with the investigation, blah, blah, blah. And he had 2 sponsors, Crocs. Fuck Crocs. Are you wearing Crocs? If you're wearing Crocs right now, kick them off your feet and put them in the fire. And Hollister. Both brand partners removed all promotional content that David appeared in. Gee, I wonder why. We don't really support murder, especially of juveniles. Just as general board policy. Give me a break. So he's canceled his tour. He's in deep shit. Interscope's parent companies, Sony Music, Publishing, and Wasserman have paused all promotional activities related to David out of respect for the seriousness of the situation and the ongoing investigation. David is, according to my mixtapes, David has canceled his tour after police finally began investigating him and searched his house in connection with the murder of 15-year-old Rivas. God, it's just so fucking awful. You know, I mean, 15, what are you supposed to be doing? Chewing bubble gum and, annoying your parents with singing your songs and not cleaning up your room. I mean, that's where you should be, and getting halfway decent grades. Or in my case, C pluses. While on tour, David's show is styled to be a funeral. What the fuck? Not a good look. Okay, let's just check this out. I love you from the afterlife. Give me a break. What the fuck? That's so dark, isn't it? Okay, well, that was special. In the back of my mind, you died. Unbelievable. So, let's give you a little background on Celeste Rivas. David has yet to make any public statements on how he knows the young missing lady. Well, that's good. I mean, internet sleuths have been putting together things and putting together the pieces. So one of the things that people do that they don't realize, if it's not on the internet, it didn't happen, right? Isn't that the old phrase? Just like nothing good happens after midnight. Well, the problem is when you put everything on the internet, you're self-snitching because you're creating a timeline. Mercedes Martinez, the mother of Celeste, and aunt Dora Hernandez shared numerous posts regarding a runaway child. Reports state that her mother identified Celeste's boyfriend as someone named David, whom she has never met. So one thing is they have a similar finger tattoo, but it's been said that, a lot of people have that same tattoo. So I don't know if that means anything, but my guess is it probably does. Based on information available, David would have had to meet Celeste when she was 10 or 11 years old. Is that right? Her birthday is September 7th. David's Discord was started September 7th. Romantic Homicide was uploaded on YouTube on September 7th. Rehab music video released on September 7th. His new album, Withered Deluxe, was announced on September 7th. Hollow Prayers, released on September 7th. Poetic Vulgarity, released September 7th. Once More, released September 7th. So, I mean, listen to these lyrics. In the back of my mind, you died. This is Romantic Homicide. In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. Not a single tear. And I'm sick of waiting patiently for someone that won't even arrive. In the back of my mind, I killed you and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you. This guy, a lot of times people who are creative geniuses are also sick in the fucking head. And this is some kind of crazy content. So nobody ever caught me, but I've spoken too soon in the back of a police car. I forgot whatever I knew. I ain't telling nothing. Do the same if they ask you about her. Jesus. So the song Decide was released in 2022. Aless was born in 2010. She had been 11 when the song was released, with these lyrics. I know what the problem is. Save your tears. 7 years. I know life is complicated. 7 years. What does that mean? 7 years until you're 18. What the fuck? Here he is in One More Dance, where he's got his blindfold on, he's bloody, and he's hauling a body. Unbelievable. He's so fucking dark. This is from David's Twitter feed or X feed. When I was writing this, I got a notie from you as you were talking about wanting to be with your mom and your sister again. Take me where I belong, but our circumstances won't allow us to be in our ideal situation. We got to push through it, bro. We know a girl named Celeste was in the trunk, but do we know that David Celeste and the trunk Celeste are the same? Did they actually know each other? And my guess is probably yes. I always say there's no such thing as coincidences. Apparently, this is from Celeste's account. It says, more photos of David with Celeste. When your card declines at therapy and they bring in that Hello Kitty girl you met in 2021. Jesus Christ. My heart goes out to this mom,
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Who's this?
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete.
So apparently, this is David and Celeste together.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
You can't delete it all. Look, we have it here. So that supposedly that's them together. And then here he is on some live where and somebody says, "Who's the girl?" Speaking of Discord, David and his fans had Discord that he was active in. There's a lot of evidence here, along with the moderators maybe having knowledge of the underage relationship. This is a message from Celeste. Is that her finger? So evidently, Celeste has posted this on Discord. When you're young like this, you're very impressionable, and everything's so damn intense, and you have zero judgment or foresight into seeing what's going to happen next. David, are you happily married or single? Me and David got a kid on the way. And her account's now been deleted, is my understanding. I'm going back home Monday. Awesome. Hopefully just in time for my baby's birth. So if she's pregnant, you've seen it before where somebody kills a pregnant woman because they don't want to deal with it. Fucking A. Guess what? Would you rather, eat a pillow in a jail cell or raise a child? I'd rather raise a child. A user calls out David for dating a missing girl. You aren't given any proof, so that's all I'm gonna think. And here's another conversation from Discord.
She was trying to go back to her family, and David would not let her.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We have been calling and trying to make reports on this since 2023, and we kept getting brushed off.
Do you know how frustrating it is to report something to the cops and they can't do anything or won't do anything about it?
Me and the two other people on the server, which have been trying.
You've been trying to go to the police.
We've been trying to go to the police, and we have been brushed off.
Oh my God!
Who are you? Why do you give a shit? I'm sure she'll turn up. That's what you get. You get the blow off.
God, it's always the fucking cops doing some bullshit.
The main reason why they wouldn't do anything is because us who reported it, we live out of state. And then, like, the moderators of the server, they all knew her age. They all knew exactly what was going down. And every time we went to say something about it and, like, say that it was wrong and that David was going to catch a case, but she's also in danger, we got muted. I got muted for a month straight.
So I really want to be surprised that this is like not a one-off thing. He's probably,
this is mental.
Other younger underage girls, before her.
Yeah, because from what she told me is that half of them are older and half of them are young in there.
Wow.
And they met each other when they were playing Fortnite and stuff.
So, typical, if I can't have you, no one's going to have you.
Like Celeste and David, they were playing Fortnite, and then she basically came on to Discord.
My heart goes out for this family. From David's alternative TikTok, let's see what this has to say. Oh my God, I can't listen to his music anymore. It just sounds so depressing. So here's Celeste's teacher.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. Okay, hold up. I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second, because he's also in my classroom.
Wait, how long ago was this?
We all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school.
It might seem like a great idea. I'm going to go with this rapper, but guess what you are? First of all, you're a teenager. You don't have any independent means of support. You don't have your own credit card. You don't have your own job. You don't have your own set of wheels. You don't have your own anything. And guess what that makes you? That makes you controllable. I mean, don't do, okay, then I'm going to take this from you. I'm going to take that from you. Unbelievable, honestly. So let's take, one of the things that the cops are going to look at is a timeline, right? And they say, would he have had the opportunity to do this? So he starts his tour on August 5th of 2025. And the body was found in an advanced stage of decomposition. The body must have been placed in the car around August 29th. They can't tell you for sure exactly, but they kind of have an idea. The car was towed around September 3rd. The body was discovered September 8th. And the tour has off days, right? So you can tell that, would he have had the opportunity to go back and do something, which is maybe when he was planning on to dispose of the body. His tour dates had him back from Canada September 1st. Is that when he put her in the car? So just some questions that we have. This is a sad case where it seems like there are multiple places, systems, and people that failed this young lady. But what's more is, how do you find somebody who doesn't want to be found? And if they don't have a phone and they don't have a digital footprint, but you have an idea who they're staying with, and then he writes rap songs about her, not rap songs, but writes lyrics about this person. How did the teacher know she was dating a rapper and the school did nothing? Well, the school's got a limited role, right? But they should have had somebody look into her disappearance. But that's not their role. Does California not do anything with runaways, missing kids? Probably they have so many that they can't. How did people in David's Discord know, and yet no one tried to save her? It's dismissive. Oh, you're coming from Kansas, and you're just online talking about her. What do you know? They're dismissed. It's upsetting to think that we live in a world where such an open secret can exist, and no one is willing to actually intervene. They are going to have to. The reason that Casey Anthony got off was because they just couldn't connect all the dots. I mean, you remember she lied like hell that she worked at fucking Universal. And then she even went to the Universal with some people, with some investigators. And she finally said, okay, I don't work here. It was the dumbest thing in the world. And then she had a whole story about a nanny that didn't exist. Well, they're going to be doing the same with David. Now, if David is responsible for this, the smartest thing he could do is not cooperate and not say anything with the police. Because all he can do is hurt himself. But if he can account for his whereabouts and he had an alibi and has no idea how, when, or why this happened, well, then that's another kettle of fish, isn't it? Innocent until proven guilty, of course. But the first suspect is always the romantic partner. Always. It's the husband. It's the boyfriend. It's the creepy uncle. The closer you are, the more likely you're a suspect. And they don't, and she's found in his fucking car. So how is he not a person of interest or a suspect? Well, they don't have anything to tie him to this homicide. They don't have to prove motive, although his lyrics sort of give dark motive, right? Well, they have to prove how, right? How she died. Have to prove that it's a homicide and not a suicide. And they have to prove that, he's got some connection to it, that he is responsible. And they will probably do that if it exists. So what do we know for sure? We know that he did have some kind of relationship with her. We do know that it was probably romantic or sexual. We know that she's underage. We know that if he's busted for this, it's big time. When you're 13-year-old and you're 19, 20 years old, that's a problem. That's a real problem. And the sentences for sexual assault on a minor are through the roof. In some cases, it's life. So if something went wrong where she also wanted to go back and he wouldn't let her, and, did something happen there? Or is she pregnant and he couldn't handle that? Or did he just want to fucking kill somebody? You look at his music and his theme of his music, it's so fucking dark. We've got a relationship established. Even the teacher knew that she was dating this guy. And mom said she was dating somebody named David. And she's on Discord with him. Even she says, young kids. They're gonna definitely dive into electronics, because you saw they took a computer and I'm sure any other electronics out of that home. It's interesting because if there's a connection with that home, and there might be some Ring camera footage of her either going into that home or whatever, that is why, where was she found? Well, she was in the trunk of that car a block away from that house, or very, very close to that house. And the way they probably got to that house is they just backtrack, and they go, hey, I need to look at your Ring camera. I need to look at your Ring camera, all the way up and along to where the car was. And that's probably how they got to that house. So these cops are going to do their work, and it's going to ultimately lead them to somebody. There's likely no direct evidence. There's no video of it. There's no eyewitness, but there's going to be a lot of circumstantial evidence. There will be communication between the two. There will be other people that may have seen some or know of situations that might give a reason why this might have happened. And then they're going to show that, he was, whoever the killer was in close contact with her at the time of her supposed death. So you back all that up, and all of a sudden it creates a picture, and that is your circumstances. Circumstantial evidence is not any less favored than direct evidence. And what do? They build a house brick by brick by brick. Before you know it, you're left with no conclusion that this is how this had to have happened. My heart goes out to Ms. Martinez and, Celeste's family. When you're 13, you think you fucking know everything. When you're 14, you really know everything. When you're 15, I know everything. When you're 16 and you're a girl, especially, you're starting to realize life isn't exactly the way you thought it was when you were 3 years younger. And then all of a sudden you get to be 18, 19, 20. It really isn't the way I thought. But you still think you know everything. You're still dangerous out there. You're still making decisions without regard to consequences for tomorrow. Hanging out with some guy who's going on tour, and you're still like 13, 14 years old. Give me a break. Nothing good can come from that. Ugh, my heart goes out to this family. This is just our initial reporting on David. My guess is that they're going to put somebody in custody within the next week to 2 weeks on this case. The forensics, the analysis of the body by a forensic pathologist is going to be huge, because that'll tell you how this person died. Maybe she died from a drug overdose, and then they chopped her up and put her in the trunk, and, we'll see you later. And then they just didn't get to it before the cops did. That's a distinct possibility. So it might have been an accidental death. Or maybe there was an argument. Maybe she wanted to go home and wasn't going to be allowed to, and there was a physical altercation. Or maybe he just wanted to act out his videos, act out his songs. I know I killed you, but I loved you too much. Give me a break. That's kind of what his line was. I just love Nicole too much. Well, how about love her a little less? You know, I mean, she'd be alive if you loved her less. That's code for I'm fucking obsessed that I can't control you, and so if I can't have you, nobody else can. That's what that is. And then you go berserk and you fucking just do what you did. Ugh, I hate violence. I just hate violence, especially when it comes to women and young kids. You know, it's just never a good thing. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you get some merch because, you know, Nick is still homeless in his box, but it's a refrigerator box lined with cardboard and wax. So he's really trying to work his way up to a pallet, you know. So we'll see you next time. Go to CLRBruceRivers.com for all your merch needs. Sign up for Patreon. Follow us on Facebook. And we'll see you next time here.